Welcome. Welcome to this week's BTO talk on generative AI. My name is Michael Alf, calling from Lisbon, working with executives, leadership teams to utilize, apply generative AI and take them onto the transformation journey. And I'm here with my two partners. Markus, over to you.
Hi there, Markus Kuiper, professor at the National University of Singapore for marketing. And yes, together with Michael and Rob, we created Beyond the Obvious. And we are really helping anyone who wants to get into the game with generative AI. Rob.
Thank you, Michael and Markus. Rob Thurner here in London, third partner with Beyond the Obvious, working with Cambridge Judge Business School on their digital transformation program and designing and delivering workshops and webinars on this topic to clients far and wide. So we usually start these sessions with some tech news. Michael, do you want to point the laser at what you've picked up in the last 7 days?
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. And again, as always, there is a lot. Actually, I had a talk yesterday evening, and I said even I struggle picking out kind of one of the messages each week, which are actually worthwhile. So there's more worthwhile than we have time. I think one of the big ones is an announcement by NVIDIA, and you might recall this drop of 1 trillion stock market value. That was DeepSeek, but there was a related one on the NVIDIA and the chip side, where basically the CEO said, well, quantum computing takes a long time. I think they're changing gears now, and quantum computing is back again. And that will have massive implications, of course, on the quality and the outcomes of all the models, from kind of even then video and visual and audio, because you have more compute power, in addition to a lot of other changes. So that's kind of very tech news, but I wanted to keep it as a tech news. And with that, I think we have an interesting topic beyond chatbots, Rob. What's behind that?
Yeah, so what we see, and I'm talking to a partner in Lebanon just this morning, they're developing a series of chatbot products. We're all familiar with chatbots. It's a quick and easy way of ingesting copy and making that quick and easy for people to understand with micro-learning. Working in banks, where we're seeing chatbots very effectively answering a load of questions around compliance, for example, or maybe in the airline industry for the in-flight crew to be updated on health and safety information. So there are a lot of chatbots out there. They're doing a lot of very easy services usually, but the conundrum we find, and Markus, let me hand this over to you in just a moment. The conundrum we find is that often this technology, which is pretty easy to develop, and where we can build a good use case internally that's user friendly, struggles to get beyond the chatbot. So I think there are two angles. First of all, how do we break down some barriers to enable a successful pilot in one part of the organization to then be adopted by other parts of the organization? So that's part one. And part two is the chatbot technology is tried and tested. It's been around a long time. What's the version 2.0 of the chatbot that could be expanded? So Markus, what's your reflection on those 2 points?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic which I come across with many leadership teams in my work, both at university as well as in executive education and projects. I compare it with Henry Ford inventing the car. So we went from horse carriages to the car, and the car was then well known as what? The Black Ford. So the chatbot is a little bit like the Black ChatGPT or Gen AI solution. And it would be very, very sad if it goes down as this is what Gen AI is all about, because chatbots, in my opinion, will not last very long. That will be one way of communicating easier with employees, with customers and vendors and so on. But what a lot of executives and medium and small size companies overlook is really the efficiencies you can get out of Gen AI nowadays so quickly by simply testing and experimenting with solutions. And you can build a lot of things alone, as Michael is doing a lot for us as well. The question I have for Michael is, can you just clean up again? Do you need to be a programmer knowing Python and so on in order to get into Gen AI? Or are there simple ways for organizations to create either their own chatbot or going beyond that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Markus. There's a simple answer: no, you don't have to. Yeah, and so for simpler solution, even some complex solutions, one big trend is kind of no code or even low code, where you have to do a little bit, but with the help actually of ChatGPT, you can even code. And you have a couple of other developments which make it a lot easier, to come up with something, which of course in itself poses kind of means a significant challenge for organizations. Yeah, so when you think about that, everyone can actually create their own chatbots or advanced chatbots with kind of one clear pathway, because we have discussion 2.0 are agents. Yeah, so it's kind of that that next level is, well, how do you manage actually? How do you manage 1,000 chatbots in an organization if you have a larger one, or even more of them? That's a big topic. That's where the whole area of digital asset management comes in. But back to you, Rob. When you look at kind of these chatbots, what else do you see in terms of how to kind of make that more, kind of spread that in an organization in a positive way, so that kind of more people are actually utilizing and getting more efficient?
Well, I think the personalization word comes to mind immediately. If I'm working in a bank, sure, I need to know about regulation and compliance, but there may be a ton of other areas where I need to have easy access to information. And if we can map this back to the needs of the employee in that case, by very carefully profiling, understanding where they are, what their immediate tasks are, but as their career develops, making sure they have access to other information, we can build a concierge type service where the content itself can be customized. But I'm thinking also it could be around access to that content and whether we can be ingesting the content into other platforms that they're using, whether it's Slack, whether it's I'm allowed to use the word Signal today after the recent news. Let's keep clear of Signal. But whether it's Slack or whether it's WhatsApp or other regular channels that they're using, that we can take that content through their channels, so they're getting a very intuitive and a very personalized concierge type service. So the personalization word comes to mind. Markus, would there be another word that you would use where we can see the death, well, not the death of the chatbot, but the evolution of the chatbot into something else?
Yeah, I guess you mentioned the personalization, and the next one is it's on the go. Everything is on the go. You can be in a subway, you can be in a self-driving car, maybe you can be in a train, you can be in a plane, or whatever. And the personalized context about sustainability, about quality measure, about finance, about legal, about procurement, about marketing, about anything you can imagine, or maybe your studies in the future as well, will be in your social media channel, and it reacts to your style, and it gives you snippets only, which means you don't have to watch even this video in full length. You can simply stop after 30 seconds and then it will pick it up the next time. So learning for us, learning for our children, and learning for our employees and customers will become super easy at your fingertips, actually, if you have access to it. And it will be micro. It will be micro messages in videos and text. And that will make it very easy when you then connect it to the things you actually look for. Okay, now I understand this, and where can I go now in order to do something about it? I buy a product, I want to test drive something, and so on. And I'm pretty sure that marketing will pick up on that, Michael, because marketing will be the first integrating the different channels into new things as well, starting with a chatbot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think it's definitely going to kind of have some significant impact and a change. And clearly, marketing is kind of the first ones picking up on that and kind of changing kind of the messaging around that, and of course utilizing then the different tools and also different marketing agents. And I think that will significantly change how you operate then, the marketing, how you have these feedback loops, automated feedback loops, and so you create a new operating system, if you like, which that makes it work, and then you have certain platform solutions which actually support you in these activities. So that's an interesting time.
Super interesting. And just to build on that, so I was talking to an L&D head at a retail client just last week, and we were talking about adoption and how we move beyond these pockets of experimentation. And I was saying, what's your experience? What works well? And the answer was really interesting. What she said was, we like to reward people for sharing ideas. We like to bring people together. Typically, we'll have a small team who are tasked with coming up with ideas, but we reward them for sharing those ideas with others and building this culture where it's not just about coming up with an idea that works, but sharing that with other people, doing learning lunches. These are very easy ways of sharing ideas, and of course bringing that into internal comms channels. So it becomes easy to understand and easy to share, and we give people rewards for doing so. So Marcus, we talk about shared learning. Does anything else come to mind in your experience where we can see a better way of sharing ideas at the learning stage and then bringing it into implementation?
Well, I guess what we always say in our talk in order to conclude today is you need to get started and experiment with it. And Michael is for us the entrepreneur and leading experimenter. He tries out a lot of things. He doesn't tell us much about the things which failed, but he always surprises us with something. I've been playing around probably all night with something, and it simply works. And it is amazing. Michael is the only one who can talk about how much effort it takes, but certainly once you get the hang of it, and maybe you surround yourself with some people who love to play with tools and new solutions in your team, you will not go back. What is very clear is that we are in a transitional time between the old way of working, the current way of working, and in the future, there will be a Gen AI supported way of working in many, many areas, from healthcare to manufacturing to FMCG to engineering and so on. So, Michael, a word of inspiration for everyone to experiment like you do.
Well, have fun with it. Yeah? Enjoy the failures, like in life. It's the same here. I know probably the older we get, the less we want to fail, but it's that's the only way path forward. Especially, and I encouraged yesterday evening, this kind of senior group. I encouraged them. Part of the learning is the failure, and you only learn swimming by swimming. And by getting wet. And I think that's very true for this as well. And so it's not executives talking about it. So if you have an executive who has never done prompting and really using it on a daily basis, or at least on a regular weekly basis, so 2 or 3 times, there's a gap. And that's kind of the gap you should address. And with that, Rob, any closing comments?
No, I think that's good advice. It's a case of getting your feet wet and trying things out. Don't be scared if they don't work, and don't give up if something doesn't work the first time. Try again. It's probably not your fault, but you need to experiment. You need to talk to others, and expect that the learning journey takes many twists and turns. But yeah, enjoy the ride. So with that, thank you for your time today. Thanks, as always, to Michael and Marcus for your input, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye for now.